Hi, everyone. Yes,
Hi.
this is a show that we haven't had for a while, but we're back with a vengeance. We've got two of our lovely fivesome, if that's the way we'll describe it. We've got Babs, of course, blue and black shirt, and we've got say hello, Michael,
Hey everyone, how you going? Missed you all.
and then we've got a rather almost naked George there. AKA Doofus, joining us. We're waiting on Giuseppe and Harry. They're a bit late. They'll be here soon. But so, thanks for joining us, guys, on the gig. two Greeks, two Italians, and one German. And we're going to be expanding this program. This is, in fact, episode 23. But I think we'll look at that differently next year because it's almost next year now. And we've got Tabashas Mahani saying hello already for Babs and Doofus and myself. The show will actually expand, which it probably did anyway, to include not just obviously cricket, but we're going to be talking about rugby league. Perhaps we're going to be talking about international sports of the highest order, like a World Cup. We're going to be talking about the FIFA World Cup tonight. And by the way, Michael. Italy, how did they go again? Or for that matter, Greece. Did they actually even get a Guernsey? I don't think they did they?
They're doing as well as what the Germans did. They're all at home.
Hang on. The Germans actually made the round of 30.
They actually came last in their group, which is actually pretty poor.
Germany.
They might as well have not have gone.
Correct. Germany and Italy and Greece are all back home, mate. It doesn't matter. You're back home like everyone else. You're not winning the World Cup.
Hang on a minute. Let's clarify. Michael, you can't be back home if you didn't leave home. I mean,
well, they went on holiday somewhere.
Oh, God. Anyway, and of course, we'll talk about that more. Obviously, Ronaldo got benched, a bit like what Michael says I always did in the cricket match. It was not true. And then, obviously, Portugal missed out. But now Argentina, who beat Australia, not convincingly, who well play France, who Australia lost to, you would argue, not convincingly.
France has still got to play Morocco. Let's not get too
Morocco's they're the dark horse, mate. I thought Croatia had half a chance today, to be honest. I had my money on Croatia, win or a draw, and it was all over probably at halftime.
Oh, yeah. It was all done.
What is your name? Smelovich or something? What's your last name? Is it?
Well, no. Hey, I just hope Morocco do a better job than what Croatia did today, because that was a shit semi-final. If you're like, as in Argentina were just too. I watched the game. Argentina too good, and that second goal, what a goal, eh?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think Croatia played badly. I think just Argentina played well.
Maybe they just yeah. Do you guys agree the first one was a penalty? I know he hit him.
Yeah, it was cleverly crafted.
If that was an outdoor player doing that to another player, it would have been a free kick. So it's a penalty.
Yeah. I just didn't see it was. I did see he took him over, but
it wasn't a clear cut. Like it was a little bit soft, but it was still a penalty because they give those free kicks outside the box, so it's got to be a penalty inside the box. So, but one thing I want to mention, the T20 World Cup. There was one of our guys who predicted England to win.
Who was that?
That was me.
Oh, self-promotion, for God's sake.
Everyone went for Australia and India or Pakistan or someone, but no, someone actually picked them.
Did you pick Afghanistan too?
Thank you.
Didn't you pick Afghanistan?
Go back through the tapes.
You go back to the last episode. Afghanistan was my smoky, but England was... I said England would win.
Yeah. Well, I had anyone but India at the end.
Well, you got it right too then.
But it was good. It was a great World Cup. As you know, I went with Buri Majunda around the country. It was a lot of fun. I got taken around. We spent time with Alan Mullally. I got a friend of mine, Tony Rose. We had Jeff Thompson on. We had a lot of fun, actually. It was a very, very good trip.
Do you think that I know it's T20, but they need to sort it out properly? You can't have draws. That stuff that really hurt Australia.
With the washouts.
Yeah, And I think Afghanistan copped 2, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's not right, mate. You come here to play, 4 games, 5 games, and 2 a washout?
But Australia played badly towards the end. Come on. They didn't,
I'm not saying that everyone should have had 5 games or whatever it needed to be. Have the bloody spare round or something. We got grounds that can suffice. And you know what? T20, it didn't rain that badly most of the time.
Yeah, like play it the next morning or the next night or something. I know it's hard for people get into the game because they've organised to get there, but, just play it in empty stadiums. Who cares?
Mate, imagine if that was a World Cup.
Australia's attendance was terrible. Australia attended Adelaide Oval against Afghanistan with 3 men in the dog. That was it. It was terrible. Disgusting.
Now, what I'm trying to say, if that's a World Cup, imagine if that was World Cup in the soccer and a game was washed out like that. What would that do to the? Wouldn't happen.
No,
you're right. Not in Qatar anyway.
Well, never rains in Qatar, does it? Hey, you want to hear something about rugby league quickly? And it affects my team. Did you guys see what happened today at training?
Yeah, Trebojevic is out for a year.
Fuck. Oh, shooks.
Which one? Jake or
Turbo? Tom. Could be done his hamstring again.
Honestly, how can he get injured so often?
How unlucky is he though? Like, is that just because he's probably so high strung as a young kid? Because I don't remember guys back in our day playing football. We got that injured so many times so young.
Not preseason as well. Like, really? Like, fuck.
It's December. It's December. What is it? How is he out for the season?
Oh, he's out training. They won't know yet.
They won't know yet.
He gets a scan, but if it's hamstring, he's done.
Because he's done a bit. Well, it's his right one. He's done his left one previously, but still.
Yeah, but that's an old man's injury. Everyone knows you do a hamstring when you get to 30, you're probably finished.
Well, he's not that. He's only late 20s, isn't he? 27?
Not even that. He's early 20s, maybe 24, 25.
So, not good.
And you're going to lose Marty DePauw. What's going on with him?
Oh, I think he will go. I think there's turmoil. I think Manly need a clean sweep of all the players, and let's rebuild because we're going to struggle. I think we're going to struggle. See, I don't understand how you can have Seabold, who got sacked from the Bunnies, got sacked at Broncos, and now he's a head coach.
That's a huge mistake. Who does he know? Does he know somebody that gets him gigs? Who does he know?
If you got sacked from 2 jobs, how do you get a 3rd gig?
No. Well, he was an assistant at Manly, wasn't he, before he went to South?
I don't know, but you know what happened?
He was
the England Rugby Union assistant coach. When he went over there to help, they went backwards.
He was a defensive coach.
Good luck for Manly. Oh God.
I'll be watching some netball or some soccer or something else, I think, in the office.
You can watch the Dragons come second last.
I went to St. George's Leagues Club the other day. Oh, is that a depressing place? Seriously.
It needs a refurb, doesn't it?
Well, you know what's wrong? Its actual auditorium is a storage area.
Yeah.
How do you have your main auditorium as a storage area? What the hell?
It hasn't done a refurb in 30 years, I don't think, from memory.
No. All right. We've gone all over the place. We talked a bit about the side, which we're going to come back to later. Just quick, we'll get out of the way now. Who's going to win between France and Morocco, honestly?
It's got to be, you got to go France. I think they've got too many big-time players who have played in a lot of big games compared to Morocco, who have done well in Africa, but have never, this is their first time in a big stage, and I think they might be a little bit overawed. So you'd have to go France. But, you don't know, but France will be favourites for sure.
They've only had 1 goal conceded.
Mm.
That's amazing.
So they're doing well.
Yeah. I've got a few new people. We've got a guy called Arsh. I'm not sure who Arsh is. We've got Brendan. I've just noticed Brendan Paul Weller, who I know. Good on you, Brendan, for joining. Now, look, just quickly, we know Australia's playing South Africa on the weekend, and there's all that. We'll talk about the Warner hoo-ha in a minute as well. I had lunch with Warner and his wife Candice, would you believe, at this Bure Majunda, who knows them very well, at a local cafe in Waterloo the other day. And it was a very refreshing thing to see Dave Warner talk because, quite frankly, he was quite relaxed and pleasant, which was a bit against what he normally is.
It's not like
yeah, I mean, look, the guy's got pretty good family values. You've got to give him that, okay? Admittedly, there's been other issues which we won't go into in too much detail, but, he redeemed himself a little bit with me by listening to talk. That's one thing. All right, we go to Virat Kohli, scoring a couple of centuries of late in the short format. He's redeemed himself somewhat. He's scored 72 centuries now. He's only second to Tendulkar overall in the run of centuries in either IDI or T20 or Test. Pretty impressive, really. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What?
What about
Kohli?
It's about time, mate. To be honest with you, I think you know what? It's about. I think the last couple of games in the T20, you could see he actually found some form, and it looks on the back of that he's actually probably prolonged his career. Like I think he was a bit like Steve Smith to a certain degree, probably a year or so. Like how long has Steve Smith got to go? A year, 2 maybe, but he's batting quite well. I think Kohli's done quite well. Probably he's got another 2 years to go. Kohli's in his career, I believe.
Yeah.
Having said that, he was only playing Bangladesh, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think you could score a 200 against Bangladesh, Norm.
Yeah, but look, a century is a century. You can't deny that. You can't just say who you're playing against. He doesn't choose who he plays against. That's the way it is.
No, I don't. Yeah, but it's like playing against frigging Camberwell.
So, what do you think of the Australian team? They just smacked I think basically a Brisbane Saints version of West Indies. Let's be honest, it was only a part.
Well, they put up a bit of a show in Perth in that first test. They did okay. They scored some runs. Chanderpaul was nice to see. Like he made some, for a guy who's just starting out, he dug in and he batted well. It looked like his dad, didn't it? Like he looked like
100%.
You'd see those.
There's nothing wrong with that. His dad scored over 10,000 test runs.
Oh yeah, if he gets half as good as his dad, he'll be happy. So but to see that stance and the way his dad, it was just like going back to those late '80s when the Windies were at their best. But they just I don't know. But like in their second test, like what they had 3 or 4 injuries. They had a lot of their first guys not there, and then their other bowler went down. So they had a lot of things go against them. But still.
They haven't got anyone over 125 Ks, except for the one Alzari Joseph.
Yeah.
They had to call a local player to fill in and help out.
Yeah. He was playing grade cricket. So, look, a lot of stuff's got to happen in the Windies. Like that, you can see that they've fallen way, way back to the big teams. So, the ICC has to put some money in there, and that's the only way that's going to fix it. Put some money into development of the younger kids to try and get them playing cricket again, because a lot of them are going to basketball. Anyone with like Joel Garner's height or that sort of stuff are now being poached to play basketball. So they're not playing cricket. So they've got to get... Yeah, and they haven't got the money to pay them as well as what the Australian, the Indian, English players are being paid. So that becomes an issue. If they can go over and play basketball and get a half-decent wage and send that back to their families and stuff, well, they're going to go play basketball, not going to play cricket. So it is a big issue for them. So I think, money's got to be spent there, and not by just the West Indies, by the other countries to help them to get better, because you don't want 3 or 4 good test playing nations. You want all 8 or 9 playing at a reasonable standard, and that's not happening.
Okay, so the other thing with the West Indies is they haven't got idols to play for. They like having a Chris Gale or a Andre Russell or someone like that to look up to. They've got no one at the moment, and it's really what young players need: idols to look up to.
I reckon their captain's probably the only idol. He's probably the only guy with some big name. The rest of the guys, or the bowler. What's the bowler's name? The tall
Holder.
Yeah, Holder. They're probably the only two that you go, oh, they're worldwide renowned. People know them around the world. Everyone else, I had no idea who they basically were.
Like the wicketkeeper, who was a wicketkeeper? De Silva. Like you never heard of him before. But the other issue is a lot of their main guys are playing, just doing the T20 rounds. Like you say, Andre Russell and all those sort of guys are just playing T20, and they're not playing the test matches because they're just not getting remunerated for it.
Well, I mean, look.
I was going to say, sorry, just one thing. Do you reckon they've always been known as the West Indies? Is that, I know it's not actually a country. Is that an issue?
It's always been an issue. It's always been an
issue. They seem to go through it. Back in the 80s and the 90s, they got through that, no dramas, because they had players from all over the West Indies playing. But at the moment, there just seems to be there's no bond.
Well, can you imagine countries getting their players to play for one united force? It's bloody hard.
It's like Great Britain. Great Britain do it. England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. They play as one, as a barbarians or whatever they do sometimes during the year. And you can see it's actually, they don't gel.
Yeah. Well, during the like the Olympics, they're all Great Britain, aren't they? Or that sort of stuff. So it's hard because but none of those little island states have got enough players to be one good side. So
unless you're Jamaica in the Olympics, of course, their athletics is ridiculous.
Yeah,
they can run.
They can run.
All right. So the West Indies were a bit. Sorry.
But hang on, if you can run, you can bowl. You would think you could run, you could bowl. If you could run fast, you could bowl. So you've got to have runners in there. Do they just teach the runners to bowl? I don't know. Like
the issue is money. Like if you're a decent runner, you're going to get a lot more money playing running rather than playing cricket at the moment.
It's funny because Chris Gale was in Sydney a week or so ago. He snuck in. He had a few meetings with people. He met up with Yashpal, my mate, at the Indian restaurant, and snuck out of the country. He didn't want to be seen here. Why? Because West Indies were playing, and he would be dragged into the argument about all that. Not that he would play, but he certainly is an idol to the West Indies.
Yeah,
sure.
Right.
And they need him, to be honest. And Brian Lara loves coming because he just hobnobs around and gets taken on as a ball.
Oh, how good is Brian Lara on the commentary though?
Very good.
He actually, when he talks about cricket and batting, he's second to none.
Yeah.
There was a couple of, I think he was speaking. Who was he might have been the second test. He was talking about batting, I don't know, to someone, but it was just the way, like, he was, out of all my batsmen, Brian Lara was my favourite.
The thing about Brian Lara is he knows when to talk. He doesn't over-talk. Yeah. He doesn't talk crap. And I'm sure you're going to agree with me, we've got so many very, very ordinary commentators at the moment, especially some of the ex-players. They are hopeless.
Yeah.
And we've got Triple M here in Sydney. I'm sure it's in Queensland as well.
Yeah, it's not as well, yeah.
And the commentators on that, I'm so sick of it. They are awful. Callum Ferguson, what the hell? He played state cricket, okay, but what's he doing commentating?
I actually, if you had a choice, you'd actually just turn the ABC on.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they had Justin Langer, like for all his knowledge and all the rest of it, he hasn't got a good voice for commentating.
No, you're right. Yeah.
But then they got this Mark Howard.
I hate him.
I can't. He keeps telling us how good he is with subtle comments. Oh, I've been doing this for 3 years now. I don't care. You're a nobody, and he shouldn't be doing it. And then I hate the way they talk about cricketers with their nicknames. They've only met them 5 minutes earlier, and they're calling them with their nicknames. And I'm thinking, mate, get over it. Just commentate. Give the guy respect. Call him by his full name. Don't give him nicknames when you don't even know the guy.
And doesn't he do AFL as well?
Yeah, he's crap. He's absolutely garbage.
I don't actually like him. Little peewee bloke.
Yeah,
he's just. But it's not. It's about he thinks he can make out that he knows everybody, and that he's with everybody. Oh, I remember last night when we did this. it's a little puppy dog talking to a very famous player.
Yeah, that's right.
Does that make sense?
Been around the traps, yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand it. All right, back to the Australian side. They beat West Indies convincingly, but I don't think it showed that Australia are a great side. They've got a number of bowlers that bowl now, like they're all over 200 wickets, per player, which is a great stat. I'll agree, but it's about time they start to transition some of the players into that team. Now, this Boris guy, who I hadn't heard of, I hope they give him a go because they've got to start to do it. I know Nessa and Boland bowl relatively well, but I just don't think they've got their mix right. What's your thoughts?
You know what? It would have been good to see how quick he was against the West Indies. That would have been a perfect opportunity to play your first Test match. Now, I know everyone shouldn't just be given a Test match, but we're going to rotate players and whatever. I would have given him that crack, and I would have seen how and I would have kept the other bowler and the other guy up, and maybe just had them three, and had the other guys rested for the South African Test because he won't get a game now unless two more guys fall over. You wouldn't think that would happen, South Africa. So now, when does he play next? There was his chance to play. Do they play him in a one-day game first? Most of the guys back in the old days would play a one-day game, and then they'd get into a Test match. But
if you're good enough, you should be the side. Bang.
So but you don't know.
Just because he can bowl at over 150, does that make him good enough?
No, but they've said he's good enough. So if you say someone's good enough, pick him, or don't say nothing until it's right for him to pick him. Because now everyone's saying you're talking about him. Well, friggin' pick him. What's the point of talking about someone and not picking him?
I agree. Yes. Totally agree. Okay, with the batting department, even though Khawaja didn't get many runs, I still favour him. Warner didn't get runs, and all the crap that's going on with the sandpaper gate and his captaincy annoyed me no end. It was a complete waste of discussion. Yeah. Why are we talking about rubbish like that? Because even though he hasn't got a sorry.
They're never going to make him captain. Never. No. Even if they let him back into the, a role like that, he's never going to be a captain for Australia. So
how can he? Who's he going to take? Whose spot's he going to take?
That's right. It's never going to happen. So what's the point? So just get on with your life. Just keep batting and playing cricket.
The next captain's Cameron Green. That's the next captain's Cameron Green.
Yeah.
So actually, Jason Sanger, watch out. He's the captain of the Thunder BBL.
He can't score a run, mate.
What do you mean he can't score a run?
What's he scored in New South Wales recently?
You let him play for Australia.
I'm not saying he can't.
Just because he plays for New South Wales doesn't mean he just plays for Australia.
No, I didn't say that. But he's got the qualities to perform at an Australian level. And he's one of those guys you just throw into the mix.
But he's done nothing at the moment for New South Wales. Have a look at his stats.
Okay, there's some players that play well for state but do F all when they go to Australia. So they can work the other way around as well. I believe every time he's played against this national team.
Mate, what about Hayden, who scored 3 billion runs, had to wait 6 years to play Test match cricket? Sanger can't hit the ball off the square for New South Wales.
I disagree with you. I think that he should be given a go.
Yeah, but Head's playing well. I know.
I love Head.
No, I don't love him.
How good is Head's batting? He's Gilchrist now.
Really well.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's not. But it's not. Let's see how he goes.
Of course, but you can only go on what he's facing, and he's in form and he's batting well.
Okay.
Labuschagne,
I'm not going to say anything against it. Okay.
Does Labuschagne?
We've got to see against some quality bowling, which we'll see against the next 3 tests, and then you go from there. But at the moment, you can't drop Head, you can't drop Labuschagne. Smith's batting well. Like, where's he fitting in? You're not going to drop Green. So
no.
How does Snair get in there?
There's only one guy you can drop. One guy, David Warner, if he hasn't scored runs in the next 3 tests.
He's gone. How long has it gone since he's scored a Test 100? 31 tests or something? It's been a long time.
Well, he's about to play his 100th Test match at the MCG. If he's going to play in Brisbane, he's 99th. He's going to play his 100th Test match at the MCG.
So he'll play Boxing Day.
Well, his 100th Test
right?
at the Melbourne, not his 100th Melbourne Test.
No, 100th Test.
Test, yeah.
So then he'll
I think it's maybe not 31 tests, but 31 innings since he scored a Test 100. So it's been a while. He had that bad run against the Poms, and we've got to go back play the Poms again. So yeah, he might want to keep playing.
They got three difficult teams: South Africa,
India
at home in a 5-test series coming up in February, March, and they've got obviously the Ashes. I mean, how has England been playing against Pakistan? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's been good, but
500 runs, mate. It was like watching one-day cricket.
They were. I mean, you got to give it to England. That Harry Brooks pretty good. I tell you what.
Every person that went to bat wanted to make a difference. You could see that when they went to bat. There was
great attitude.
Yeah, that's what I instilled in my team when I was playing as a captain.
But then, is that an issue with the?
Why are we talking about your captaincy 20 years after the? Oh my God! You're sounding like that. Oh, you sound like I don't know.
Hey, did you guys see Giuseppe's post?
Why is Giuseppe not here?
What a bunch! Hey, how good looking were we boys back in those days?
Where is he?
He's probably on Eastern Standard Time. That muppet. Where is he in here?
I don't know.
Maybe is he doing something in soccer? Maybe.
Now, who's Campbell Kellaway? Can he play? I've never heard of Campbell Kellaway.
Hey, do some questions, Norm. There's freaking heaps of them.
I'm trying. They have their own private. Sebastian Mahani talks to Sebastian all day. Okay. Sebastian, I know he's average 28. I know that. All right.
Yeah.
Stark Cummins bowler versus Rabada, Norjay, and Jensen. Now, who has the edge? I actually think the South African bowlers do, to be honest with you.
If they get their line and length right. If they get their length. If they want to come into Australia and bowl short, they won't. But
they just played at the Allan Border Field. They just played the Cricket Australia 11 last weekend. And
didn't one guy, 19-year-old, score 100?
4 day. Yeah, but they played a 4-day game against them, and that's a good lead up playing at the Allan Border Field. It's got a similar pitch to what they'll find at the Gabba, so they would have learnt from that. And I saw them actually as I was driving past the Gabba this morning. They were all doing their they were in the nets having a trundle down there. It was about 10 o'clock this morning. They were out there throwing them down. So I think their bowlers will be ready. They've definitely.
And it's the conditions suit them. The conditions suit them. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I rate Rabada. What are the other two like? Do you rate the other two?
Nokia is amazing.
He's a really good bowler.
And then Jensen, isn't Jensen tall?
Yeah, left armour.
Yeah, okay.
He's pretty good.
Left armour, okay. So there's Jensen for Stark. What, Rabada for Cummins and Boland for Nortje. Is that about right?
They're honestly, at the moment, pound for pound, better bowlers.
Okay. What about spinner? No spinner.
Oh, no. Maharaj, he often captains now the short format. He's quite a smart left-arm spin bowler.
Is he left? So he's left. So that's different. I don't mind coming to Australia left arm. I think it's something different.
He's got it over Smith. I think he's gotten Smith out a few times.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting.
I think the bowlers are probably even. I think our batting's stronger.
I'd agree with that. As long as they get through the South African bowlers, I agree with that. But I think it'll be a lot closer than we make out.
Yeah, I know.
It's not going to be an easy. It's going to be tight, and the conditions up in Brisbane towards the start of, I think might be having a few showers around, so it could be a bit humid. So that ball's going to be swinging. So it's going to be very tough for batsmen up here, I would say.
I'd say so too.
Who's captain? Elgar?
South African, Dean Elgar.
Elgar, okay. I like him. He's gutsy.
He's gutsy.
Yeah.
He's gutsy.
Good
Look, they've got a lot of players that I'll call them no names that really we don't know much about. They've got centuries here and there, but they'll put their best foot forward. And don't forget the World Test Championship, which comes to fruition early next year, where they'll actually have the two top sides. Australia's first, South Africa's second at the moment, and third is Sri Lanka, which I can't comprehend.
How does that happen? How does that happen?
I don't know. But then India are playing Bangladesh as we speak. In fact, they're not doing that well. Last I saw of it, India beats Bangladesh, and then India play Australia in India, which will you'd think India will do well there, right?
You would think so.
Yeah. And if Australia beats South Africa comprehensively, then India may go into the World Test Championship as one of the top two teams. With Australia looks like they're through now. They're pretty much through. Even if they do lose against India, they do okay against South Africa, they're through. So that's the way. They'll be played at Lord's next year in about June. So it's rather important for this particular series, Australia versus South Africa. South Africa will want to play well. They've got a massive motivation. They want to make the World Test Championship final. They play well against Australia. They could actually make it.
You know, well, India are 4 for 231.
Are they?
Yeah, but Kohli made one.
And they were 4 for not much at the early stages, though. I saw that.
They were 4 for 112.
Which is not good.
They were 3 for 48. So
Pujar was playing, or Pujar was on 74.
Yeah, Pujara's on 74. Who's this? Iyer. I never heard of him.
Shreyas Iyer. He's a short form player, and he's proving himself at this level too. Very good player.
He's 66, but again, they're only playing bloody Bangladesh.
Well, hang on. Bangladesh knocked them over in quite a few games in the short format. Then at home, they're nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, I guess so. They're playing at their home conditions, but still, you'd think India should be.
What do you think of England versus Pakistan?
I think is it the bowling of Pakistan are they not bowling? I haven't seen much of the games.
No.
So my question would be like the way England they scored over 500 runs in a day, which is good in anyone's language. But you then have to ask, what was the bowling like? Are they bowling to the fields? What sort of fields are they bowling to?
The outfield was lightning fast. The pitch was a road. It was a batter's paradise. Yep.
Absolute road. I've never seen a pitch like that. The ball didn't move.
Yeah.
Day one, day two. It did nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was like
Harris Brow finished himself in the first few overs. So without a bowler immediately.
But having said that, 500 runs is a pretty good crack for day one. Like we say 300 is good, 350 is outstanding, 500 is unheard of.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, look, and I'll say this really clearly. I don't care if it's a road. I don't care if it's a wet track. You play to the conditions and you adapt to the conditions, right? And I like Test cricket. When you bat to the last day of the fifth day, last hour, I love that. That's what I'm saying. So it was a road, but it went to the fifth day. Like they went right to the end. It took them 5 days. Like I reckon that's the best Test match. I love those Test matches. Yeah. And even the Test match number 2, Pakistan could have won that yesterday. Oh God, yeah. And that guy come on for his debut, got 7 wickets in the first innings and 4 in the second. Yeah, he was on fire. I was actually trying to pick him on watching TV. It was actually, I know he's new. It was actually quite hard to pick because he was bowling leggies, and you would pick his wrong one, but his grip looked very similar to his leggy, and you could see England had no answers. And he could bat as well. He could hit the ball. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I actually watched literally the whole of the match. I found it enthralling. I love Pakistan when it comes to Test cricket. I really do. They put on a really good show. They got some incredibly good players. They don't seem to get across the line though. But They were quality batters. My
It
God.
would actually be nice to see Pakistan play on a bouncy, fast green top, mate. Like they have got some bowlers, 140, 145, 150 an hour that they're playing on those friggin' roads in Pakistan. Seriously,
if you ask their bowlers, they'd love to bowl on that. If you ask their batsmen, I don't think they'd love to bat on it.
But it'd be just good. Like remember when bloody the Pakistani opening bowler with the long friggin' blonde hair used to come to a Shoaib Akhtar, wasn't it? How good was that to watch him in Australia when he used to come off a mile and just fling it, mate? Like that's pace at its best.
But Harris Ralph's like that. He bowls 150 clicks.
Yeah.
Shaheen Afridi's a great bowler as well. And Nasim Shah, the young bloke.
Yeah. It's just a shame that to bowl on that friggin' Pakistan those pitches because they were roads.
Yeah, but still, they know those conditions because that's what they've been brought up. So surely they should know that they've got to hit the top of off stump.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But Ben Stokes, what a captain! Come on, what a captain!
I'm still. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting.
Ben Stokes.
You got to agree.
He gets in the game, they win.
Doofus, you got to agree, bro. Seriously, without him as a captain, they don't win, mate.
Is it him or is it the coach instilling?
No,
both. I think it's both. The coach says to the captain, "We agree." Bang. I think the captain's got the ultimate say. It's his guys.
But the coach is obviously instilling in the background, talking to all those players and giving them the confidence to go out and play with a great deal of, just go out there and play and see the ball, hit the ball.
It was like watching Giuseppe bat and not missing a ball with the way the Poms batted day one every time they batted. There was no blocks. Man. Every single batsman wanted to hit the ball out of the park.
So to me,
but then Ben Stokes makes very bold decisions on the ground, and he does execute what he's asked to do.
That's right. But those sort of things come down. Yeah, is it the coach or is it the captain?
Oh,
I think if you don't have both of them on the same page, it's not going to work.
Well, Ben Stokes has won 8 out of the last 9 matches for his country.
Yeah, but he's came on at the same time, buddy. McCullum's come on as
well. No, and it's even more than that. It's Rob Keys, the CEO as well. He's in the same mindset. He got McCullum in.
Here's my only question about England is I don't like their spinner.
Leach.
Yeah. That is my only question mark.
Yeah, but he toils away though. He gets his wickets.
He didn't do really well in Australia, though, did he?
No. In Australia, it's a mental thing in Australia. England really suffer here.
And I think. Oh, I don't know. Will he do well in England? Like James Lyons versus him. That could be the X factor who wins the Ashes. Those two.
Yeah, Lyon is really. He's slowly but surely impressed me. You've got to give it to him.
He's only our second best bloody spinner of all time.
Yeah, how weird is that? Hey, you look at him and you go, but he's been
an off spinner, but he gets wickets.
He's been bowling for a long time. Like when I was growing up, I thought out of Shane Warne, it was really Tim May. He was the next best off spinner. But
Stuart McGill as well.
Oh yeah, McGill was leggy though. But if you're looking at off spinner, Tim May was it, right?
Yeah.
And now
I rate Adam Zampa. If we gave him a go on the test team, he would get a lot of wickets. He's a bloody good bowler.
But does he actually turn the ball, or it's all really?
Oh, but he's very clever with he skids the ball through. He's got a variation to him.
Yeah, that's all right in T20 cricket, but Test match is a whole different kettle of fish.
Have you guys ever seen a clip of Shane Warne's wickets? Some of the wickets that bloke got. Like,
what a gem.
I was looking at some of the balls. They were spinning, and the ones that I used to love were the ones that pitched outside leg. The batsman stuck his leg out towards leg stump, and it would go around their legs and clean up middle stump. Top gun batsmen used to get bowled around their legs, mate. No one in this world does that now.
Yeah.
But you know what? He worked his ass. He was 19, about to play for St Kilda, had no interest in playing cricket, really.
No.
And he got this letter to say, piss off from St Kilda. And he said, oh my God, what am I going to do? Am I going to do removals work? He had nothing to go back to. And he thought, right, I can bowl. And he put his heart and soul into his practice. He worked his bottom off.
And who was that South African guy that was his guinea pig? Cullinan or someone?
Daryl Cullinan,
yeah. Some of that bloke had apps. You see some of the clips.
No idea.
He had absolutely no idea. Outside of Brian Lara and maybe Tendulkar, everyone else really struggled against Shane Warne. I don't care who you are.
But I mean, he was such a clever talker. He would really.
It was in your brain. Yeah, I know.
Like
but a guy that can spin the ball that much is going to be in your brain, right? Anyhow, come on.
I mean, if I was given more of a chance by my captain back in the day, I would have been the next Shane Warne at the time. But anyway, that's all.
The only problem about your captain was he had peers in his side that wouldn't let him bowl you.
I was under bowl. Let's be honest. I got fifers.
Mate, there was some blokes in that team that would have dethroned the captain if I put you on.
I actually got fifers. I got fifers. How many fifers did you get, Michael?
I can't
go back and check the records. Go back to my cricket and you'll see exactly what I'm talking
about. Oh, God. I get a headache, doofus.
No.
Well, we used to. You talk
yeah, and then we're frigging desperate. You got a bowl. Fucking hell.
Okay, Hazelwood, side strain, out probably for the season. Is he staying numbered?
No. He's our best bowler. On his day, he's our best bowler. He's better than Cummins, better than Stark. He is our number one bowler, fully fit.
Do you think Cummins should captain still? When he's injured, he's not the team. What's the point? You can't afford to have a bowler that gets injured every season for a few games, not captain. It's happened a couple of seasons in a row. Steve Smith captain on both Adelaide Oval tests last year. This year.
So who are you going to put in as captain, though?
Jason Sanger, but that's my thoughts.
I told you, there's only one guy that can be.
He's got to be in the team to fucking captain the team. He can't captain the team from bloody Sydney Thunder.
Hey, when Steve Smith was captain, who was the vice captain?
Carey, the keeper.
Why didn't they make Cameron Green vice captain?
Oh, he has to be given a go soon. I tell you,
that was a prime example.
I think in the Test match, he probably doesn't need that extra responsibilities yet. But as in the one days or the T20s, I think he should be.
Yeah, but but you're vice captain. You don't have to do too much besides come up with a couple ideas.
Still, but if you do get injured, then you're thrown into it. So I think he's still a bit young to be our Test captain at the moment. But yeah, give him a couple of years.
Now England, Archer's on the way back. Well, let's hope. Ollie Robinson looked really good. Even he and Anderson bowled well in Pakistan. Jesus. You talk about Rhodes, Michael, but they made the ball move and cut back. Did you see the dismissals that Anderson?
Oh yeah, but hang on, we're talking reverse swing though, aren't we? And we're talking second innings more than first innings, aren't we?
Yeah, but come on, James Anderson did pretty
he's a freak. Well. If he rips Australia apart at the Ashes, Australia's friggin' pretty hopeless, mate. Yeah, the guy's going to be 60 by the time he bowls his first ball. And he's good. I reckon Australia's getting smacked.
He's
a gun. And I think Archer fully fit is the X factor too.
I'll tell you what. Do you reckon it could be Anderson's and Broad's last series?
Broad won't play.
Yeah,
I don't think Broad will play.
Oh, okay. Anderson.
I don't think he gets into that team. If Archer's playing and those other boys are all fit, where does he fit in?
Who's the quick guy? What's his name? The quick guy.
Mark Wood.
Yeah. Wood's got to be over Anderson. Over the other guy, surely. Wood over Broad.
Broad's only bowling at tops 125, 130.
Yeah. Wood's bowling one.
What?
No, Broad.
Oh yeah. The only thing that would say Broad is in England conditions. He would probably do a good job there, but Thingo is 150 k's an hour, and he got the ball to move. in Pakistan, especially yesterday. I saw some of the wickets. He was quite good yesterday.
Now, Sebastian Mahoney's getting stuck at me saying, Norman, last time we predicted England was going to win the Ashes, Australia destroyed England 4-0. That was in Australia. In England, different kettle of fish.
I think it's going to be a very close test series. I reckon there'll be 1 or 2 draws, maybe.
No, there won't. Not with Ben Stokes. It won't be. What do you mean?
Well, we don't know what the weather's going to. How much weather's going to play in England?
Okay.
That's my only thing. I reckon there might be a draw here and there, but I reckon both sides are very attacking. Australia's not a defensive batting side either. Don't get it like no. Warner on the go, Khawaja. Friggin', I know you hate Head, but Head scores a run a ball.
Yeah.
So, we're as lethal as much as they are, but I think our bowlers are much better than Pakistan bowlers, so they won't be scoring at 5.5, 6 runs and over. They'll be going at 3s and 4s, you would think.
All right. Now, Head has done well recently, yes. But let's see what he does.
Why do you hate him? So I actually like him now. I think he's the X factor of middle order now.
All right, okay. I'm not knocking his performance. I want to see him do well against South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back to Eyes on Sports for a moment, which will be the name of this show next year. We'll talk about sports. Soccer. What game did you like watching the most out of all the matches so far? What was the best game?
I like the Australia-Argentina game.
That was great.
I know it was Australia was in it. Yeah, whatever. I thought that was a spectacle. We probably were very unlucky we didn't score that goal in the end. But if that was a world class, if that was Messi there in the box, Australia score. It was a shame it was who it was in the box.
He just he didn't do our cool whatever his name is, Jaron Cole. He didn't do a bad thing. If you see their keeper, how quick he saw that ball coming across, and he was out shutting that down that angle within a millisecond. He was out there, and that's why all their players went and thanked their goalkeeper because he did. It was the goalkeeper who saved it rather than the striker missing it. So their keeper was very good in that instance.
I think there was one game that Messi, he did this mad, I can't remember who he played, that pass. It was I don't know, that pass where he went to the gap, pushed it through Argentina. Who was that game against?
Holland
and Argentina. That was my favorite game. Out of all the games I saw, 2-0 up, I think it was. Holland made it 2-0, and then they couldn't shoot a penalty shootout. Argentina, thanks for coming, and then in the final now.
But what about Brazil? I'm very sad because I thought they were going to hopefully play Argentina in the semi-final, which would have been great.
Would have been interesting. But it's a funny game.
Let's be serious. It's no World Cup, that Italy.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
so
not.
Where the hell were they then? Where the hell were they?
A World Cup still goes on without Italy.
Yeah, I know, but it's not right though, is it?
Well, whose fault is
that? Not getting. If their domestic league's fantastic, isn't it?
It's got better. So, like,
I don't know how they go from being European champions to not being even able to qualify for
Malacca. I know one country that was European champions and haven't done nothing since.
Great.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago. We did nothing for 40 years before that. We won't do anything for another 40 years. Our expectations are different.
Yeah, I know. We should have been at the World Cup. No
Your
excuses.
expectations are you should be at the World Cup every year and playing to win the World Cup, not sitting at home with Greece watching it.
Yeah,
you kind of need to have Italy, Brazil, Argentina, and Spain. They're the teams you expect every time to be there.
Hey, Germany, you would think about piss in your pocket. Like, they're probably the 5 or 6 big Portugal. The rest of them, they make up. Like, Morocco is probably the surprise factor. So was Croatia today. That's a pretty good achievement for those two guys to get so far.
Plus, this time there was the first time 3 Asian teams have gotten into the round of 16. So there's, in saying that, you go through your cycles, and Germany at the moment is going through a bit of a cycle where for the last 2 World Cups they've been out after the group stages. They haven't even gotten out of the group stages for the last 2 World Cups, so they've got issues there. Italy, they didn't even make it, so but yet they did well in the Euros. So they're going through things. So England has started to sort of come good in the last 4 to 6 years.
But,
and
when you say
African teams are starting to get through. So
when you say about England, Doofus, I reckon that's on the back of they fixed up their Premier League, because they used to have too many foreign players playing in England. They've still got it.
They still have, but it helps
not
those
as big.
But it helps those players who are playing against them week in, week out, playing against world-class opponents. So it makes when they then get to play at a World Cup or a Euros, they're playing against those style of players. So Harry Kane every week is playing against quality defenders, so he knows what to expect. Whereas previously, if they're only playing against England defenders, they're not getting that same experience. So it's good that they have that. And at the moment, the Premier League's probably the best league in the world.
Michael, why were you playing with your underarm hair just then?
I was just scratching my arm under my arm, bro.
Yeah, but you did this. You went like this, and then you went like this.
Yeah, I was smelling my armpit.
Oh, really? Hey,
I got a question for you. Everyone talks about Baggio World Cup. Are they going to talk about the England captain the same time next 20 years?
No.
You don't think so? That was a pretty piss poor attempt, though, wasn't it?
Oh, come on. He kicked one earlier on.
The difference is that they're club mates. Lloris and
but mate, you know what was scary, though? I understand the missing, but there's a friggin' goal. Put it somewhere in that vicinity. Yeah. It was like he was kicking goals for Manly.
I've seen you hit the ball back to the bowler when you bat. You've made mistakes too.
No, but come on.
He wasn't that far off. You look at it, it's only about a foot over, not even.
Yeah, but look at Messi. Have you seen Messi take his penalties?
Did you see him miss one this year in the World Cup?
But I'm talking about under World Cup pressure. The one he took today, bang.
Yeah, bang. See how he went high as well? He put in the top corner.
I just think to lose, like England lost because the guy couldn't put it in the freaking back of the net.
They weren't going to win.
France always was going to win that match.
Mate, it was going to be 2-0. It would have been 2-0. 2-2, sorry. That would have been open slather then.
Yeah, but being Lloris, if it was any other keeper, he probably puts it where he normally puts it.
Yeah.
But because Lloris...
So was he the right man to take it then?
No, I don't think he was. Yeah. I think they should have changed him.
Where's Giuseppe and Harry when you need to talk about soccer? Where are those two?
Giuseppe never misses anything, mate. Giuseppe's always here.
No, I know.
Well, he was talking as if he was coming before the show. Anyway, all right. So, quick question back to cricket. And Demas has asked us, Norman England's baseball cricket, is it sustainable or not? I think it is. It's going to
well, he's winning. He's winning. You win games sustainable. It's when you lose games becomes a question.
Depends on their cricketers. Who they got coming through. Can they play that style of game and without a fear and just playing?
Take Anderson out of that side. That's a pretty youngish side.
Oh, look, Ben Duckett, Crawley, they're all having a go. Ollie Pope, they're all having a good go when they bat. You've got to give it on. They're picking the right players.
Like that Ollie, the guy that you said as well. What was his name before?
Harry Brook.
Like he's young too, mate. Like
he's a star.
What happens when they get rid of Baz?
Why would you?
Coach.
Why would you get rid of Baz?
Maybe he doesn't want to do it anymore. Maybe he's had enough. He goes on to something different after 3 or 4 years.
Okay, well then they find someone else. But England will be dominant for 3 years if he's the coach.
With Stokes as well.
Yeah.
But
Stokes has always batted that way. If you see Stokes and how England bat, that's how Stokes bats anyhow. It's just the whole team has come on board and batting and it's starting to bat like that.
Our Earth is best is pushing Josh Philippe, and he's saying Australia need to pick young players now. It's high time. I agree.
Yeah,
we're holding on to Smith.
We don't want to just give baggy greens away.
But hang on, you got a point, mate. We haven't got outside of Cameron Green, who's a whole side's 30.
Marnus isn't 30.
Okay, maybe him. You got
Carey?
2 out of 11.
Carey's not 30 yet.
Okay, 3 out of 11. Now who you got?
Is Head 30 yet?
Well, you got to be close.
He's got a dick of a head.
But you look at us compared to England. I think Pakistan's reasonably.
When you say us, do you mean us? We're 50 something.
I mean, as Australia compared to other nations, I think is India a bit oldish?
A little bit with the batters, a little bit.
Yeah, Australia seemed to be. England seems to be young. You take Anderson out. Pakistan seemed to be youngish to a certain degree. You know, we seem to be older.
Pakistan scored a double century.
Yeah,
the other day.
I guess you're only as old as you score. If you score in runs, you're in the side. If you
That's
get
it.
You're in the side. But
Look at
who's the next guy behind? That's the thing. You don't want to have 5 or 6 guys retire at once. That's going to be the problem.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we're saying. You're right. We could have a glut of players go very quickly. Yeah. And if you don't blood young blokes soon, it's going to be a difficult one, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, we saw that when Chappell and them all, there was 4 of them that went at the same time. You know, you can't have that. You got to be able to manage that. And as selectors, they need to be doing that and thinking about that over the next coming years. Because, Warner's 36, Khawaja's 34, Smith's 33, 34. So, you know, there's 3 of your top 4 batsmen. Sooner or later, you've got to be able to take one of them out and say, okay, let's pop you out and put a young one in. Then the year after, all right, off you go, and then put someone else in.
You know who you named? You named probably 3 guys. One's got an average of something close to 60. One's got a 48 plus average, and I'm sure Warner has got 40 something as well plus. They're decent averages. We lose 3 of them in the space of a year. Who's going to replace them?
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be easy, but it's why it's got to be done better.
Better captain Stokes will come. It's clearly Stokes.
Oh, no.
Is it?
No.
Are you guys saying that Cummins is a good captain? Are you kidding me?
He's won 2 tests in a row.
Yeah, but he goes to he asks Smith, Warner, and everyone else he can get a hold of.
But that's what a good captain should do.
Oh, I don't agree.
No, look, hey, I reckon you can only judge on how many test matches you win. I think Stokes is really good, and I don't think Cummins is bad.
Do you think he's the long-term Australia? Do you think he should be Australia's captain long-term?
Very hard for a bowler to be captain.
That's right.
At history. Outside of what? Imran Khan.
Who was not round?
Yeah, who?
Bob Willis.
Bob Willis. There's not many bowlers that were, but Bob Willis wasn't a very successful captain. He played in an Australian era that dominated big time against England, but he was the captain. There's not many successful bowling captains.
I went to a function about 3 or 4 nights ago with Ian Botham, and also Bradley Clyde was there, Nick Farr-Jones, Mark Bosnich. It was a lot of fun, and I got invited there because the guy Paul Nicolau was an old schoolmate of mine, and he's a minister in the New South Wales government or some sort. It's great, and I talked to Ian Botham, Lord as he wants to be called. He's good mates with David Graven. He's on my show. It was great to talk to him. He's a decent guy. Very easy.
And what does he think about England cricket? He loves it?
He loves it to death.
He would be the one. That's how he would love to play cricket.
Oh, that's his cricket. That's him all over. And you know what? Ben Stokes and even Baz and a number of the England players talk to him regularly. They communicate with Ian Botham, and that's the key.
Do you think Do you think Cummins does that to
No.
Yeah, that's
Smith does neither. I know for a fact because a lot of the ex-cricketers tell me no one ever comes to them and talks to them. No one goes. Rod Marsh was one they did go to, but no one goes to Ian Chappell, for example, as much as they should. But Ian Botham he's such a lovely bloke. But England, the teams that talk to previous captains are the smartest.
Mate, we've had some good ones. Imagine Alan Border's brain. Imagine Mark Taylor's brain. Ricky Ponting's brain. Steve Waugh. I can name 4 people that are better than Cummins already.
Oh, for sure. Look, even Michael Clark, you have to give wasn't that bad either.
Yeah, probably
Shane Ward, mate. He was. I know he's not around, but he would have been a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, what a great! I mean, I know he's died and everything, and we kind of look back and we reminisce and we glorify him, but he deserves it.
He was a freak.
I don't think we really understood how good he was until we actually lost him.
Oh, I don't know. The Gadding. You say Gadding to any pom, the Gadding ball, and they know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. I was there the day when he got his 700th Test win in MCG.
When he ran around like that. Around the oval like that, I think, holding the ball up.
Theatre. Huge theatre.
That's a good question. Who will take Warner's spot in Tests? Good question.
It better not be bloody Marcus Harris, who was still in the squad. God knows why.
Well, actually, Renshaw's playing well for Queensland.
Yeah.
He's back at the top of the order and he's making runs, so he's an option. He's played Test match before
for Australia already.
Yep. So
he went through a bit of a rough patch, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, did he really? I don't remember this rough patch.
I think he was it LBW or something. He got trapped a couple of times.
He was falling over his front paddle and he was just getting out, and he's sorted that out. Now it's taken him a few years to get back to where he was. And he was playing sort of in the middle order as well. But this year he's back at the top of the order, opening for Queensland again and making good runs. So he's someone that I think has got potential to get back in there and play well. And he's a left-hander, so he gives you that other option.
Have a look at all the good players Australia's ever had. They've always been dropped.
Yeah,
always. And they've come back bigger and better.
Oh, you would never drop because you wouldn't drop yourself. Is that right?
Well, no. Well, that's true. Why would you drop me for? Let's be serious. But
that's the problem. That's what we're talking about. That's the problem.
Like you look at Steve Waugh. I think Mark Waugh.
Ponting.
All these guys got dropped, mate. They went back to Shield. They came back and they were 1,000 times better.
Yep.
Very true. All right, guys. So we're going to continue through the break. Like next week. Are you busy or what's the story?
No, we can do next week. Yeah, let's do next week.
I'm around still.
Yeah, I'm good next week. We can work out the week after.
Middle of the test. What'll be day? Oh, it'll be day 4 of the test, won't it?
No, Saturday, Sunday. No, isn't it Saturday start?
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, day 4. It'll be the end of the test.
Good wrap. We can wrap up for the next test.
Yep.
I think Australia will win it, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And I don't be surprised if South Africa win it. But I think Australia win it.
I'm not confident Australia wins.
What? 3-1.
I've got a huge advantage.
I don't think they'll win up here. I think it'll be very close up here with just the way of South Africa's bowling depth and the way they're bowling. It's going to be really tight, really close game.
Every time you play at the Gabba, you bat first, right? Do you bowl first this time? You don't. No one bowls first, right?
Yeah.
I only remember once where it was bloody
England.
Yeah, no, but like going back into the 70s and 80s, I remember Australia bowling once, and it was when Tomo and Lilly were bowling, and we had them. I think it might have been against England. We had them 5 for 25 for 30 odd. I think we put them in. It was a green top. Overhead conditions were right, and I think they just got into them. So I think once in the last 40 years it's worked out. So you wouldn't be. Yeah. You wouldn't do it.
I can't remember ever someone. That's why I said you bat first in in at the Gabba,
Yeah.
and you score 1,000 if you can first dig.
If you can.
Okay, 3 test matches. Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney. What's the results? Early prediction.
I think maybe Australia 2-1. I think it's going to be really close.
Which one will South Africa win?
I think they might win up here. Because I think the other ones probably don't suit their bowlers as much, and they don't. I just think that our batsmen might be able to get over the top of them better in Sydney and Melbourne. But in Queensland, if the conditions are right, if there's a bit of movement, bit of humidity, I think their bowlers could cause a bit of damage up here.
Okay, if South Africa win the toss, what will they do in Brisbane?
They should still
bat, but I reckon they'll bowl, mate. They can't be that stupid, surely. You've got to bat.
I think they'll bat.
But they're all their cards are in their bowlers, but you got to bat. You can't bowl first.
Who's South Africa's coach?
Boucher.
Oh, it is. Okay.
I like Boucher. Boucher was a good player.
So he obviously knows the conditions up here. He's played here a few times, so he should know not to bowl first.
The thing is, these countries that don't live in Australia, they come here, they see a bit of green, they see it fast, end up bowling, mate.
Yeah,
that's the problem everyone does.
But Queensland conditions are similar to Durban conditions, where it's humid, it's a bit bouncy and that sort of stuff as well. So it's not completely foreign for those guys who play in Durban anyway. They do have similar conditions in South Africa. So it's not completely foreign to them. But it's no different to someone from Sydney or Adelaide coming up here and playing in Brisbane either. Like, it's you're playing in your home conditions, but unless you're a Queenslander and playing on them regularly, it's still tough to come up here and bat sometimes.
Yeah.
So Malabongwe Makito is named interim head coach. Sebastian, I haven't heard that, so that's news to me. I saw Boucher on one of the interviews, so I assumed he was the coach. So we're going to find out.
Okay.
Have they got 3 tests and then what, 1 days, or are they going home?
No, they're going home because they're playing their T20 comp straight after Christmas.
Correct.
So what are we doing?
Don't forget, they normally play the Boxing Day test at home these days.
Yes.
So what's Australia
it's
doing?
their summer as well. Sorry, Michael?
So what are they? So what are we got this 3 test series?
That's
and what's after that?
Well, we've got not a lot on after that because we're going to India.
It's just the big bash, mate. Just the big bash on the Shield.
Is that what it is? Big bash, right? Okay. So this is all
February, March. We're 5 test matches in India.
Yeah, India. What's the time zone? India?
They're 5.5 hours behind.
5.
Okay, so we'll get to watch some good cricket maybe in the afternoon. At least 1 or 2 sessions maybe. Maybe go into the night.
Yeah, it's a big year next year. I mean, look, this South African series is pretty important as well. But in India, and then the Ashes, it's a hell of a test for our players, I would argue. So Sebastian's mentioning the South African side. Elga, Ryan, Dawson, Bavoon, I don't rate.
How does Bavuma get a go, mate? Seriously,
I don't know.
When does form actually say, mate, you're way out of your league at the moment, go back and play cricket?
That bowling lineup, Jansen, Maharaj, Rabada, Norjay, and McGinney, who's also a good bowler. That's a good bowling lineup. I
don't rate their spinner though, that's all. But I might be wrong.
Oh, look at his record. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's pretty good, I must say. So, what other sports would you like to see next year? We can talk about rugby.
It'll be just topical of what's going on, Norm. Like, you have the AFL, the NRL when it starts. But then you got basketball over in the US, and that's coming. That'll be coming to a head. NFL, that'll be finishing early January. Super Bowl comes in at the end of January, early February. So it just depends on what's happening.
That's my dream. And tennis, of course.
Tennis, you got Champions League of the soccer coming on, coming back. So there's,
my dream is to go to a Super Bowl. I must say.
Yeah. When do they start doing World Cup qualifiers again?
For soccer?
Yeah.
Well, next will be the Euros again. The Euros will happen, so they'll be into them. And then once the Euros are finished, so that'll be Euros should be next year. And then after that, they'll start the World Cup again, which will be in the US, Canada, and Mexico.
That is exciting. I reckon that's exciting.
That's what I want to. I'm going. I've made
Canada, US, and what? Mexico.
Mexico.
Mexico weren't in the World Cup this time, hey?
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
Were they? Okay.
And Canada.
And Canada.
And USA were too.
Yeah. USA got through the next round.
Mexico normally, then maybe Mexico up front of the radar.
Mexico played Argentina in the second game, I think.
Oh,
in the same group.
No, they weren't, because you had Argentina, Australia, Tunisia, and Denmark. There was no Mexico there.
Hey, got a stupid question, right?
France was in Australia's group. Argentina weren't in Australia's group.
Sorry, I'll start again. France, Tunisia, Denmark, Australia. There was no. Yes. There was no Mexico.
Hey,
Mexico was in Argentina's group.
Okay, right.
Hey, when does someone like China and India become a powerhouse of soccer?
Well, China's getting close.
China's not too bad. They do all right. They're starting to get better, but it's just the government. I don't know.
Hey, like you've got 350? Is it million or more now? What do they got, China?
They're up to a couple of billion.
2 billion. Try 2 billion.
Okay, so they've got to. Wouldn't they be? You think they'd be a powerhouse of soccer? So would India.
Well, India's got in Kolkata, in the province where Kolkata is, they are mad about soccer.
So how do they go to the next level though? How do they get to where they are?
Money, I'm afraid.
Oh,
okay, let's take one more thing about soccer. I want your opinion of this. How good was Australia to have made the World Cup, got into the round of 16 with not one player virtually playing anywhere other than in a domestic league here in Australia?
No, there's only 7 or 8 from the A-League. All the rest of them play not in the big leagues.
Well, that's what I mean. They weren't playing big leagues, were they?
Yeah, they're still playing. Like they're playing in Scotland or Netherlands, or they're playing in the second division in Italy.
But that's not what I'm talking about. That's not top level. Come on.
Yeah. No, I think
they're still playing. They're playing like the second division in Italy is still better than the A-League. Let's not be.
But hang on. But 7 or 8 players played in the A-League, and they made the rounds to 16. It's saying our A-League's not too bad. Sure.
It's not that good either.
So explain to me how they did so well then.
I think we're lucky.
I think we got lucky.
Yeah.
If you see some of the goals we scored, we were a little bit lucky. And
there was one goal that we got was a deflection that went into I think one of the right.
Yeah, but
right corner.
Lucky they got to the round of 16.
Oh yeah, I know because
they did, but unless we then. You look at those players, and a lot of them are old guys, and there's like our attackers aren't going to be there in the next 4 years. So we've got to be able to now put things in place where the next group of players have got those opportunities to do well. I don't know, like the Olympic squad did well this year, and I think that helped because a lot of those players came through, those younger players came through that. But you look at our 18s, 21s, and they are just hopeless internationally. We do not do very well in those younger age groups at all. And that's where we've got to get better in those younger age groups to be able to be competitive with the Argentinas, the Germanys, the Italys, the Netherlands, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the England. It's no use just going into the 16 and getting flogged all the time. You want to be able to get in there and have a half decent chance of winning. And
I don't know.
We're never going to beat Argentina.
Can I make this clear? And I'm going to say this many times next year. AFL pisses me off because they don't play against frickin' anyone other than their own selves, right?
Yes, they do. They play. Hang on, for starters, you play with yourself, but they play against Ireland.
Are you kidding me? Some bullshit Gaelic game with that stupid post. That's a waste of time. All Australian team you play. Look, we're spending all this money in Australia on our stupid AFL. Get rid of it. Get it into soccer or league. Get rid of it. AFL to be banned. Go back to Victoria.
Take a chill pill. I'm not giving you mouth to mouth. Listen, fucking
AFL to be VFL. Get lost. I don't want to
AFL. Watching AFL live is unbelievable.
But no one else plays it. Not any country. Is there any other? There's not a freaking country that plays it. Who cares?
Correct. And the government gives them too much money. The most
popular
sport is soccer, football, and it doesn't get as much.
The AFL budget go to soccer. Get lost, AFL. Go back to Victoria. Go back to bloody,
you know what? Only one country plays bocce.
Yeah, who gives a shit about bocce, for God's sake?
I do.
Yeah, because you and your stupid Italian Cavanossi, you bloody play your bocce. Who gives a shit? I was thinking you're telling me Italian bocce, the Italian government gives lots of money for bocce. Bullshit.
No, I think
even a sport.
AFL's to be freaking banned. Get rid of it. Go back to Victoria.
You're actually making sense. Why are we giving so much money to an Australian sport when it's actually not a worldwide sport? How do we compete?
We're taking over grounds. The cricket season is shrinking because AFL takes up the SCG, Adelaide Oval, MCG. Yeah. Too much. For God's sake, get rid of it. It's a vermin. Get rid of it.
We've got World Games versus in this. Yeah, for the first time ever, you're making sense.
AFL is absolute shit. Oh, I'm talking about who gives a rat's ass about AFL? It's not. No one plays outside of Victoria except for expats. Who cares? Get rid of it. I'm very angry with it. It's a complete waste of our country's money. No one plays again. Oh, Daddy, I want to play for Australia. Sorry, son, we don't play anyone. Oh, come on.
Hang on. You make the All-Australian team.
Yeah, you make the All-Australian teams, and what happens there? Nothing.
No one. You play with yourselves in the corner of a nightclub. That's it.
What's wrong with playing with yourself, mate?
Well, Michael, with your bloody Northern Lights you normally have on the roof there, I know what you do with it. But the reality is, rugby league, we play against other countries. Union, we play against other countries. We play against the world.
That rugby league world. Hang on.
That was a joke.
That wasn't a World Cup. Rugby league and rugby union World Cups are an absolute.
Rugby league's not bad. We're playing it. There's a few.
Yeah, lost. Mate,
rugby union's a bit better than the rugby league, but that rugby league, like you got Greece playing in it, for goodness sake.
The only overseas game AFL plays is on Phillip Island. Jesus.
Yeah, but still, like you got teams like Greece playing in it, Italy and Lebanon. Like, come on.
Mate, do we even play AFL? Have you ever seen an AFL game anywhere else but bloody Victoria?
No, I know that, but
hang on. That fullback for Italy, Pacelli, plays in the Queensland Rugby League. He played with my son. He plays a fullback for one of the Winner Manly or someone like that. He played with my son at Cromer.
It's good for those guys who have got a different background who can play, but like
you're both wearing AFL shirts too. Look at you, bloody sleeve.
One's a running T-shirt, mate.
Yeah, we're athletes, mate.
Athletes.
That's it.
I'm Middlesex, thank you very much. Middlesex.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You don't get.
Am I wrong? The AFL should be banned. Someone should unplug the bloody music and get another flavour.
I actually enjoy AFL, but I never thought about. When was
the last time you went to an AFL match?
I watched the Swans play on TV.
Oh, excruciatingly boring.
So
my
the only time I will watch a Swans, I mean, if Manly's playing, Manly's first. If any of the other NRL games on and the Swans are playing, it's Swans first.
Really?
Manly, then Swans.
You go anywhere in the world, you say Sydney Swans, they go, what? Underwater? Who are they?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Give it up. Give us the SCG, which is a Sydney cricket ground, not the Saffel ground. It's not like the AFL ground. They're taking that bloody ground.
How good is How good is the Women's League AFL? How good is that? Have you seen that?
Well, that's more sexually driven. That's not really what you're talking
Have
about.
you seen them kick a ball? The ball goes 20 meters.
See some of those scores, 13-1 or 13-6. I can't even.
I watched the grand final. In that last quarter, they couldn't. No one kick a goal. There was not one goal scored.
Why can't they say the score was 112-5? What is this 7-3-5? We're going to get our freaking calculators out. I don't want to know what it's broken down to. We don't say rugby league 4-2-20 odd, do we? For God's sake, we just say 20 odd.
2 conversions.
Well, why do we need to do that? Who gives the rat's ass and went the middle towards the end? Who cares?
We do for cricket. We do 2 for 2-2-2.
But you get rewarded for missing. You get
rewarded where you get rewarded for missing. You get a point for missing.
Rugby league, we don't get a point if you get near the post. You get nothing.
But you do. Hang on. If you miss the ball in cricket, you still get runs.
No, you don't. You don't get any runs if you miss the ball. What are you talking about?
How do your team gets scored? The keeper misses a ball. There's 4 buys. It comes off your pads.
But in a game of AFL, you kick it to a spare post. I'll give you a point. Kick it straight.
Correct.
It's like putting trainer wheels on a bloody bicycle. Seriously.
It's like you're going for a conversion in rugby league, and if they have an extra 2 sets of posts, you missed those posts, we'll give you half a point.
Exactly. How embarrassing would that be?
Hey, Doofus, don't agree with him. Fuck, he's doing my head in.
He's making sense for a change. We got to give him a go.
Get rid of AFL. Let it go back to bloody Chroma or some shit place like that. Let him play in Chroma. For God's sake.
Yeah.
The day that AFL's played outside of Australia, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Well, you're fucking there already anyhow.
All right. Enough of that one. So, on that note, we'll talk next week.
Yes, we will.
Thank God for that. You're doing my head in, bro.
Where's Harry and where's Giuseppe? I'm upset.
All right, we'll get Harry won't come on, I don't think. Giuseppe's keen. I know that.
All right. So,
all right.
Thanks, guys. Great
night. See everyone.
See you guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.